Disclaimer: any advice I give in these videos is just my own personal advice. It may or may not work for you. These videos are more of a rough outline to self-improvement, not a step-by-step guide. I will never make a video on something I haven't improved upon or gone through myself. Also, I'm not sponsored by any brand or app I talk about in this video. These are just my opinions. Productivity. It's a buzzword in not only the content creation world, but in the world of any job. But is productivity truly an objective thing? If you really stop to think about it, being productive at one task is a lot different than being productive at another task. And even within the same job or task, what one considers productive can differ. For example, let's just say you've been making a YouTube video. It may only take 30 minutes to film, but in that time, you may think it's productive enough and you stop for the day. The next day, though, you may begin editing the video. And even though it takes hours and hours instead of 30 minutes, and you don't finish the video, you decide to stop editing the video. And after that, you don't feel as productive as you did the day before because you didn't actually finish editing the video, even though it was a longer amount of time working than filming. All this just to say that productivity is pretty much subjective, except when it comes to metrics. I'm here to, despite me saying that productivity is subjective to each person, give you a few ways that I've learned that I can feel productive and maybe will help you guys too. So here are 10 realistic ways to feel more productive. Number 1 is to make your bed as soon as you wake up or right before doing your task. Now, this may seem cliche, but it is a cliche for a reason. It works. Now, making your bed alone is not going to make you productive, but doing one little thing like making your bed can lead you to doing other small tasks because it gets you in that flow state. And before you know it, it snowballs, and now you're doing the big task that you didn't want to do earlier. Number 2 is allow plenty of natural sunlight into your home or workspace. Having any type of light is nice, but the stuff that comes from the sun is the bee's titties. Not only does the sunlight convert 7-dehydrocholesterol into vitamin D3, but the more even and pleasant light as opposed to the harsh artificial lights just makes everything seem more cheerful. And just feeling happy can definitely spark motivation into doing things. Think about it. On a shitty day outside, if it's raining, if it's below 40 degrees versus a day that's like 75 degrees and sunny, which weather would make you want to go out and do some errands? There is a reason that people have seasonal affective disorder, which is basically when there is less sunlight during the day during the winter months, and people just get generally more depressed. Sunlight just makes us happy. And number 3 is watch some online content that motivates you in a non-toxic way. I have specific creators that I watch when I need a boost of motivation before doing a task. I always make sure that what these creators are talking about isn't toxic, so I watch these channels just to make sure ahead of time if I'm gonna be like, nah, this isn't for me. You just have to find the creators and videos that make you want to get work done. I personally don't watch any videos about the hustle culture because I feel like that can get toxic real fast, because you need breaks. Like, we literally need to rest or we die. So just make sure you're watching content that inspires you and not dries you up a fucking tree. Number 4 is either meditate or just reflect on the last time that you did something productive and how good that made you feel. All right, Dylan, now you sound like a stupid self-help guru with this meditation bullshit. In reality, I don't meditate in like the stereotypical fashion where you're crossing your legs, putting your hands out, going, I just make sure that I'm in an area with no distractions, plenty of sunlight, like I mentioned earlier, and I just close my eyes and reflect on things. I also make sure to control my breathing, since I tend to have anxiety at any given moment, and if I don't control my breathing, my mind will start to wander because I'm not fixed on something. So if you've never given any type of meditation a try, I highly recommend it, even if you're not into the productivity thing. Number 5 is a more lighthearted one. It's not as deep. Get yourself a nice beverage to sip on while you're working. Now, I used to think this was just like a phony way to look like you're being productive, but because of the placebo effect, it really starts to get in your mind, eventually leading to real productivity. My personal drink of choice while scripting or editing a video, obviously, coffee, baby. For me, not only does coffee have the illusion of productivity, but there's actual caffeine, which stimulates your brain. And I'm really sensitive to caffeine, so I only need 1 cup a day to really be like sailing. It gets me into that fucking flow. And number 6, you gotta optimize your workspace as much as possible. This one basically is a no-brainer. If everything in your work area has its own dedicated spot, then it won't be as much work to actually start doing what you want to do. I have my video creating set up where I don't need to do much to get ready to film. Just a press of the button for my lights, a swing of my mic arm, and a couple of clicks to record said audio, as well as having my camera guy, who's my brother, set up the camera by putting the lens and the battery in the camera. And each of those things have their own dedicated spots where he knows they're at, so it's easy to get to. And it has raised my productivity to a new level. And number 7 is to make sure that your workspace is free of clutter. Messiness is a great enemy of productivity. I found that not only does clutter make it literally physically hard to get to what you need to do, but mentally, if you're constantly seeing all the shit that you have to clean up, you're not going to want to do anything. And before you know it, this snowballs and you're just off track in general. Don't get me wrong, falling off the wagon, being off track is perfectly fine. It's just that if you want to feel productive, this is not the optimal situation. Number 8 is get rid of all distractions while working. Now, distractions are different than clutter. I'm talking about things like excess noise, your phone, and anything that you normally do during your leisure time. I found that even if I had just have my phone at my desk, not in my hand, already looking at stuff, I'll see a notification, I'll look at it, and I'll be like, oh, and then I get sucked into the social media rabbit hole. Even writing the script for this video, I had my phone charging on my nightstand over there, and I had my bedroom door closed in case any noise was going on, or if my brother's cat, Peanut, decided to wander in which case I would have dropped everything just to pet the little furry bastard. Number 9 is put on some relaxing and quiet music in the background. Ah yes, the good old lo-fi hip-hop radio. Beats to relax/study to. In reality, it could be any music that calms without distracting you. Just make sure that it's pretty far in the background, basically turning it down to as low a volume as possible, but still being able to faintly hear it. There's a reason that live stream specifically is so damn popular. It gives you a nice little calming source of sound while not taking away from what you're doing. And finally, at number 10, write down what you need to do the week before you actually do it. Planning each day of the week that you want to accomplish something is a great way to train your brain into forming habits. That is, as long as you actually follow what you've written down. You can either use a calendar or a planner to do this, whether they be digital or physical. I personally use Google Calendar because I can look at them on all of my devices. I use this to not only plan out what my YouTube and podcast schedule is, but to do things like errands, when I work, and fun stuff. It really just takes away the stress of having to remember what you want to do that week. Like I said, the one caveat to this is you actually have to start doing the things each week, or that's just wasted planning. Eventually, I found that the routine will lead to habits, which make it so much fucking easier later down the road. And just remember, it takes a while to form habits, so don't give up if you fall off the wagon. Now, this in no way is a one-size-fit-all solution to productivity, but they are just my personal ways, and they may help you as well. And hopefully, by just watching this specific video, it gave you the motivation to try some of these things out. If you found my channel through this video, what I do here is realistic self-improvement style content. I never and will never talk about a subject that I personally haven't gone through or improved upon, so rest assured that I have the experience, and it may help you too. If you liked what you watched today, consider liking the video so that it gets out to more people like you. And I'd love if you subscribed to my channel for future self-improvement videos. Also, let me know down in the comments what gets you motivated to be productive. And if any of my advice helped you, come back to this video and tell me about it. And I will see you guys next week.